Weed in the studio. That's how long you haven't been here. Cobwebs. I'm cleaning out the cobwebs.
That's a great line.
But the Emmy Awards are still here.
As long as those Emmys are still there, we ain't getting a new one. Not for a bit. Welcome to PTI. Tony's busy repairing his divots, so I'm pleased to be joined by our great friend, Mr. Frank Isola.
We're still clapping though.
What are you doing there? You should be out here where the action is. We're going to start with the Clippers. Getting on the board in the Western Conference Finals, Paul George had 27, 15, and 8 as the Clips beat the Suns in Game 3 last night at Staples. Patrick Beverley played a strong defensive game on broken-nosed Devin Booker and a perhaps rusty Chris Paul. Frank, does the Clippers win make you see this series differently?
Yeah, if they could win Game 4, I'll feel a lot differently. I give Paul George a lot of credit because he didn't shoot well, but he still made an impact on the game. But we know this came down to Chris Paul and Devin Booker shooting a combined 10 for 40. If you tell me they're going to do it in the next game, then things are really going to get interesting. But give Ty Lue a lot of credit. Made in-series adjustments, put a smaller, quicker team out on the court. They did a really good job defensively. And who knows? Your guy Chris Paul was out a long time. Maybe that'll impact him. Devin Booker, you can tell, I give him credit. He did not use the broken nose as an excuse, but there are times during the game, Michael, he's moving the mask while play is going on. So it affected him in Game 3. We'll see if it affects him in Game 4.
Frank, I completely agree with all that analysis. Chris Paul, we figured was going to be rusty. Jeff Van Gundy said it. He called it to the T. He said early on, he said Chris Paul's going to be Chris Paul later in the series, but not probably tonight, meaning last night. 100% aced that piece of analysis. And Booker, you know, it's interesting because Richard Hamilton told him, you can't take this thing off on the bench. You got to use it. Well, he had one game to get used to, and now he's going to practice today with it on, and he'll go through warm-ups and be, you know, more accustomed to wearing it tomorrow. But listen, T. Lue, a guy who may be the most underrated coach in professional basketball, he can get these teams ready, can he not? And you talk about making adjustments. People have, of course, gone overboard now and start comparing him to Bill Parcells. I don't know if you want. I'm not Bill Parcells. I'm sorry. To the other hoodied coach in New England, and so they're comparing him to Bill
Belichick.
People can go crazy, but T. Lue knows how to get a team ready. Frank, the Clippers are tough.
Yeah.
They are tough physically and tough-minded, and Paul George put those 2 missed free throws behind him, at least for that one game, and he played a really, really, really good game last night. Yes, I think it's a different series. Remember, the Clippers should probably, based on the way Game 2 played out, be up 2-1 in this series. And Game 1 was a 2-point game before Booker slipped free on an inbounds pass and got a dunk at the end of that game. So, I mean, the Clippers have been right there for this entire series so far.
Yeah, that's, to me, what was so impressive. You had that devastating loss in Game 2 where all Paul George, just make one free throw, and maybe you have a chance. So he misses both free throws, and then the way that they defended that play, the Valley Oop as they call it, and we all saw your reaction to it, that is a crushing loss. But they've been a resilient group. They were down 0-2 to Dallas. They were down 0-2 in the second round of Utah. They find a way to get it done, but to do it without Kawhi Leonard is not going to be easy. If they could somehow, some way, get 3 more wins in this series, that is going to be as impressive as a run as you can get for a team that doesn't have its best player. Michael, they showed him on TV last night. He's sitting up in a luxury suite. They need him in uniform, and as you know, they're probably not going to get him.
No, I doubt seriously they get him. Doesn't seem to be in the cards. And by the way, that is ultimately what would change the narrative on Paul George.
Yeah.
That is it. If you play without your best player and Paul George becomes your best player and helps rally that team and they got to the finals, I don't care what you did with missed free throws, that changes it if you could somehow advance. A long way from that. But this series is just night after night, it becomes compelling new and additional reason.
Yeah, that's why you needed the Clippers to win last night. By the way, with Beverley guarding him, you have Devin Booker's 4 for 15. In the last 2 games, 10 for 35. I think Chris Paul, Devin Booker will shoot better, but if this continues, you know what? Maybe the Clippers actually have a chance. All right, we have an intergenerational bad blood in the NBA. How about this? Scottie Pippen told GQ that Kevin Durant didn't know how to play team basketball in the Nets series loss to the Bucks. He added that LeBron would have found a way to win. Durant, of course, responded on Twitter saying, "Didn't the great Scottie Pippen refuse to go in a game for a last-second shot because he was in his feelings when his coach drew up a play for a better shooter? All right, Michael, who are you backing in this beef?
Neither. I'm not getting drawn into this, Frank. One, I'm too old. Two, I know Kevin Durant a little bit. Kevin, of course, is a star civically in my adopted hometown of Greater Washington, D.C., the DMV. Scottie Pippen, I have known longer and better. And he's to me, the most underrated player in basketball in my lifetime and maybe forever, Scottie Pippen. So I'm not getting into this. In some ways, and, I was around Kevin some when he was younger, and he and Scottie reminded me of each other in that they were both really shy and sort of grew out of that shell. We know Scottie has for a long time. Kevin gets into these social media things that I don't really understand all the time. And I like and enjoy both of them. I've worked with Scottie. I'm still going to work with Scottie. If Scottie had said these things in this building, in this studio, which is where I wish he had said these things, they come off differently than if you do it to a magazine writer and then Kevin to social media. I'm not going to be drawn into this. I don't care enough about it. There are too many important things. But let me just say that I thought Scottie made a basketball observation and critique, right? And he was saying he would take LeBron for the following reason. And I get that. And then Kevin took exception to it and came back with something more personal. I didn't really see the need for that. But I'm not getting into their beef. I don't care about their beef. They're both all-time. Then Scottie win, 6 championships Scottie got?
Yeah, I'm definitely here for all of this. But I want to say this about Pippen. We all know that in 1994, he made a huge mistake. It was selfish. Yes. You quit on your team. That does not mean that when he makes some type of analysis or criticism that it's invalid. And I think Kevin Durant gets very sensitive about this stuff. Now, I was at Game 5 and Game 7 in Brooklyn, and Kevin Durant was off the charts great. In Game 5, he got help from Jeff Green. Jeff Green scored 27 points. In Game 7, he was this close, 1 inch away from hitting one of the greatest shots to ever end the series.
Maybe the greatest shot ever, yeah.
But to say, that he wasn't, getting help from his teammates, it wasn't like he wasn't trying to get guys involved. Joe Harris at 111 all, under a minute to go in overtime, missed a wide-open 3, Michael. That would have been a huge shot that could have changed everything. Now, Kevin Durant was 0 for 6 in overtime, and you want to say that should Steve Nash have called a timeout before that final play, get Kevin Durant some rest? Perhaps. But that guy was playing with his second-best player, James Harden, on one leg. I can't kill Kevin Durant. Listen, to me, what Scottie Pippen is saying is fair. I just don't agree with it.
Listen. Kevin Durant and James Harden, but particularly Kevin Durant, in Games 5 and 7, he brought honor to basketball. Yes. Honor. He played every second of these games. It's insane how great Kevin Durant, coming off an injury which no one has returned 100% from except apparently him. Kevin Durant brought honor to the game of basketball. That's why I'm not getting in this. Scottie Pippen, one of the great champions of all time. All these guys who take shots at Scottie Pippen, are they going to retire with 6? No. They're not going to retire with 6. So I'm always going to stand for Scottie when it comes to that. But you know what? They're both great, and I'm not getting into this. I'm not.
You know what, though? The Bourbon Company, they're really happy that this story appeared in GQ. It was topical. Give them credit for this because that series just ended on Saturday, and Scottie Pippen was weighing in, and everyone's paying attention to it. So the Bourbon Company wins.
Timely.
Yep.
I should have gone to that party a couple of nights ago. It was in Chicago, Frank, but that's another story. We had another no-hitter in baseball last night. This time it was Zach Davies and 3 Cubs relievers combining to blank the Dodgers. Down the street right here. They also combined to issue 8 walks. And the relievers say they didn't even know the Dodgers were hitless while they were pitching. Frank, you put this no-no in the same category with the 6 others from this season 7 if you, like I, count Madison Bumgarner.
Now, no, I don't, but they really didn't know.
They didn't know. I'm going to tell you in a second. I'm going to tell you how I know.
I've been in Dodger Stadium a million times. That huge scoreboard. They can't see that from anywhere where they're sitting.
No, not from the bullpen.
They don't know that there's not. And no one brought it up in the bullpen at all. Do you know that we haven't given up a hit yet? All right, so I'll go along with it because I like that part of the story. But I remember the Yankees getting no hit. I thought it was by 3 Houston Astro pitchers. It was by 6 of them. This is already 18 years ago. Billy Wagner was part of it. To me, it's like that's just relievers coming in with their best stuff. It's pretty cool that for the Chicago Cubs, it's the first time in franchise history. I'm not putting it up there with one pitcher pitching 9 innings and getting a no-hitter. It's just, yes, it counts as a no-hitter. It's not the same. You know that.
Managers, meaning GMs, don't even let guys stay in the game for 7 innings. Somebody
That's
got
the
pulled for a
problem.
game after 6 2/3. So you can't. How can you go 9 when the people in charge of your career and your life won't even let you stay out there? But let me tell you this. Here's why I'm going with the Cubs pitchers and that they didn't know. I'm at Staples Center, but I got this phone in my hand, and I'm looking for the partial score of Cubs-Dodgers because that's what I do. I see 4-0, and I look at maybe a little recap, and there's nothing in there about a no-hitter, Frank. It's not in there. I follow the Cubs. Hell, I've seen half the other no-hitters probably in the Cubs history. I don't mean in the ballpark. I mean on television live. I didn't know they had a no-hitter. It's my team.
Mike,
I didn't
you're
know.
not in
I'm
the
just
bullpen. There's a bullpen coach. There's a
can't
bullpen
see-
catcher. You don't think that they don't know that? I like the story.
No.
I'll go along with it. By the way, you had Nick Pivetta last night for the Red Sox, 6 2/3. He's taken out.
It took him out.
Without giving up a hit. They end up losing the game on what should have been the third out of the ninth inning on a wild pitch that gets away, and they lose to Tampa 1-0. Whoever thought
about
we'd see a
Virginia?
1-0 score in baseball?
How about the University of Virginia in the College World Series? A kid has a no-hitter, I think, 8 1/3, or Wahoo.
Yep.
8 1/3, but he winds up giving up a couple of long balls, and they lose the game.
It happens.
So, yeah, I mean, this no-hitters everywhere.
They knew there was a no-hitter.
I'm with the Cubbies.
We've been to Dodger
Congratulations.
Stadium. They knew there was no hits. Believe me.
We're taking a break. I can't hear this from Frank. Coming up, will the Bucks even things with the Hawks tonight in Game 2?
And we got a Game 7. Will it be the Islanders or the Lightning meeting the Canadians in the Stanley Cup Final? Toss up. That's next. You don't
I think
they
didn't
knew?
know. No. Relievers
one
aren't even
person.
paying attention. Relief
One
pitchers aren't
person
paying
says
attention,
you haven't
Frank.
given up a hit.